What's going on YouTube? Stipe here, and today with another video, and today I'm kind of going to give you a quick guide onto what to look for when you are buying a SRT Grand Cherokee. Now this will kind of cover used and new, kind of their flaws and positives, I guess, to buying a new and used. So depending on discounts, I've mentioned this in many of my videos, depending on the discounts, sometimes it's worth going new, sometimes it's worth going used. If you are buying one of these cars used, there's a few things that you're going to look for, so I'm going to cover that first. First things first is the brake condition of these Grand Cherokees, and the reason why is these Brembos are extremely expensive to replace. So first thing I would look for is the pad, which is right in here. I'm not sure if you can see that, and you look at the thickness of the pad. So now if there is quite a bit of pad life and for the most part it looks okay, then you're in good shape, because either depending on the kilometers, so this is how you know if it's around 50,000 K, the pads are probably going to have to get changed within the next 10 to 15,000 kilometers. In miles, I'm not sure what that is, you can convert that yourselves, but yeah, usually in the first 10 to 15 kilometers, 10 to 15,000 kilometers, sorry, you will have to change them if it's got over just around 50,000 kilometers. 50,000 kilometers is usually that mark where you start looking at them and you start paying attention to them, I find, on these Grand Cherokees. Now, that's the first thing to look for. Another thing is the rotors. The rotors too, I find these Brembo brakes for some reason get like little tiny stones in there, and they'll actually get caught, and you'll see like a little tiny circle within the rotor that actually makes a mark, like a perfect circle within the rotor, and that usually means that a little stone got in there. Now depending on how badly it dug into the pad and the rotor, that decides on that as well. And the reason why I'm talking about brakes so much is because they are extremely expensive to replace, and if you're buying a used one, it's probably because you're looking for a good price. So those are the two top things I would look for. Now next, tires, of course. No matter what used car you buy, check out the tire condition, make sure that's good, because as well, if you are getting these Pirellis, they are run flats all seasons. You can even get the sport run flats as well. They are not cheap. They are not cheap at all. They're $295s. They're nice and fat, but they are not cheap. Another thing too, if you're looking at used and it has an exhaust system or a tune or anything kind of performance mod to one of these Grand Cherokees, probably means that the Grand Cherokee didn't have a very happy life so far. And it's not always, I'm not here to say that it's always like that, but 95% of the time I find when these Grand Cherokees have any sort of modification done to them, it was probably driven pretty hard, and it 95% of the time was probably raced. So that's something to look out for as well. Now new wise, when you're looking out and buying these new, you want to make sure that the car has under 50 kilometers on it. Reason being is probably if a car has around 100 to 200 kilometers on it and it's brand new and you just bought it, means it was probably dealer traded from another store and brought to this store's inventory, and it probably means the drivers who brought it over from that store maybe didn't drive it exactly the friendliest, because they don't care, they're just driving it from one store to the other, and they probably drove it pretty hard. And for a new motor and a performance motor, especially the SRT motors, it's usually not recommended to even let the motor go over 3,500 grand, or 3,500 RPM, I should say. So that's something to look out for usually. So make sure at least under 100 kilometers. Another thing too, I find a lot of salespeople don't know this at Chrysler stores when they're showing the SRT product, is they don't know that actually SRT calculates these 0 to 60 times and the top speed times and all of that. So if you're if you're a little bit brave and the guy's not looking, or even if you just want to play around in front of him, I don't think he's going to say anything. If he does, then he's probably hiding something. Take a look through the performance menu and take a look at what's the fastest 0 to 60 time on this. If it's, you know, 8 to 10 seconds, you know, then that's great. That means it was never driven very hard. But I mean, if there's a 0 to 60 time and it's like, you know, 4 seconds or 5 seconds, anything under like 5.5 seconds, that means it was driven pretty hard. At some point someone did open it up. Another thing, if the dealership is so easy to let you test drive one, it probably means that a lot of other people have test driven it as well. And you know what, if you're test driving a vehicle, I know myself, I would drive it pretty hard as well. So I'm gonna be honest with you, if you're just going into a dealership to just test drive one of these, and that's the one you want that you're test driving, and they're so easy on letting you test drive it, then it probably means it's been test driven a few times. But get in it, check the kilometers. If it's only got like, you know, 10 kilometers, 7 kilometers, then it probably hasn't been on a test drive. That's probably just from it being moved on the lot. However, yes, I do not recommend going on a test drive in one of them, buying one that you are test driving. If you want to test drive one, make sure usually a lot of dealerships have like a demo area where they let you drive ones that have, you know, like around 1,000 kilometers on them, and they let you drive those. But otherwise, that's something else to look out for. These are just things that I would personally look out for, you know, working at a dealership and things like that. Trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing really on kind of a buying guide. Yes, price wise. So if you're financing, which I know a lot of people usually do finance these vehicles, and a lot of this stuff that I'm saying too, this is a Trackhawk here, but a lot of the stuff I'm saying goes for the Trackhawk as well. But if you're financing one of these vehicles, understand this, that if your payment is only, you know, anywhere from 20 to $50 by week, from $0 to $50 bi-weekly in difference from going new to used, you probably, if that's really a deal breaker for you, you probably shouldn't buy the vehicle. And I'm going to quickly just kind of tell you why. It means that you're very strict on a price budget, and when you have a high-end car like this, you're going to end up paying a lot of out-of-pocket for a lot of things. So I'm just telling you right now that you don't want to be that strict on a budget when you're buying this vehicle. I'm telling you right now, gas and all of that, you're gonna end up spending money on it no matter what. Like I said, the brakes I touched upon, the tires I've touched upon. There's a lot of money to be spent on these vehicles. So if you are very, very price concerned, then I don't recommend it. Now, if you plan to have this car for maybe 6 months to a year, then I recommend buying a used one. Then I recommend that it is worth, you know, the couple dollars difference in payment. And the reason why is because your total amount financed is actually quite a bit less, maybe a couple $1,000, which is a huge difference if you are trading it in, because you won't have to hit that huge depreciation value. And as we know, is new cars do depreciate very fast. So that's now a different story if you are just keeping the car for a short period of time. However, if you do plan to keep this car, let's say anywhere over 3.5 years, and like I said, the payment difference is only very small, you should probably go with the new one. And quite honestly, I've seen pricing on the used SRT Grand Cherokees. 90% of the time I cannot justify myself on buying the used one. And if the price is really good on that used one, it probably has a performance modification. It probably will need brakes. It probably has something to it. It might have an accident. There's a lot of things that could play in value there. And keep in mind, this is my opinion, and this is something that I do see every day though, but I'm just trying to warn you that these are kind of the things to look out for. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with more videos. Thanks.